You're joining your coach, your Hall of Fame coach, Johnny Rodgers, Mike Rozier, all these great Husker legends. What does it mean to you to be going into the College Football Hall of Fame?
Oh boy, so the College Football Hall of Fame fraternity for me is something I never expected. It's humbling, it's exciting. Yeah, it almost gets me tearful at times thinking about it, and I think the reason being is this is something I never thought was going to happen to me. I was just a Texas kid that was barely on the cusp of getting a scholarship into college athletics, and here I am some 25 years later. So for me, it's extremely humbling. To be into the Hall of Fame with likes of Trev Alberts, Grant Wistrom, Will Shields, Coach Osborne, and I think I'm the 18th Husker to be inducted. It's such an honor, right? Because I want to represent my university in the best way forward. When I came to the university, I wanted to be a Dave Remington. I wanted to be a Will Shields, and those guys were All-Americans and Allen Trophy winners, and went on to have wonderful careers in the NFL. And to be put in that same fraternity as them, it's extremely exciting for me. My thoughts go back to all the sacrifices that you make, whether it's day in, day out, or weekly or monthly, or even over the 5 years I was in Nebraska, because there's a lot of sacrifices that go into it, and it kind of makes me look back and think that all those were worth it.
So I had about 20 questions, and you answered them all.
We're right. I'm sure, right? Long-winded, yeah.
Because and it's good time. The part of the story when you're talking about not expecting to go on the Hall of Fame, I kind of want to tease you and say you're 49-2. I mean, and Outland Trophy, and
Right.
The only person in Nebraska history to win All-American status in two different positions. I mean, how could you not expect to go into the Hall of Fame?
Right. Nebraska's run in the mid-'90s was unbelievable. You mentioned the 49-2 record, and that was something that I'll remember forever. Right? It's unprecedented. But the thing I remember the most are the two losses. I can remember the key missed blocks that I missed, and I don't know if that's what makes a player great, is that you don't remember all the great plays, but it might be that you remember a majority of the bad plays to see how you're going to correct those and become a better player. So for me, right there in the mid-'90s, you don't think about the win that you had last Saturday. You're thinking about the next game. For us, we were thinking about the next practice, because that was our toughest opponent, was our defense. And so for me, it's not that I think about all the successes, the 3 national titles, the All-Americans, the 2 different positions. All of those just came with being a good teammate and sacrificing individual honors for the greater of the team. And we knew that individual honors would come if the team had success. And a lot of that was driven by Coach Osborne and the values that he had within, becoming a teammate, becoming a one solid unit versus a bunch of individuals out playing positions. And so, yeah, while all the individual honors are great, and man, I'm excited about being here, I still think back to, all the sacrifices that got my team to where it was, that allowed me to be here today.
So you answered my next 20 questions.
Right.
Really great answers. But so talk about Coach Osborne. What it means to go into the Hall of Fame with him, but the culture that he built. And one thing that I'm really personally interested in, because what the National Football Foundation does with the Scholar Athlete Awards and the Campbell Trophy, Nebraska is one of the top schools and has this
Right.
history of nominating people, and I think you've won the Campbell Trophy 2 or 3 times at least.
Right.
How did what does Coach Osborne do to create that culture? And B, was that focus on the scholar athlete something that you were cognizant of?
Right. So, playing for Coach Osborne was something that myself and many players over his 25 years cherish. Right. He's a second father to many of us, and not only is he your coach, but he's also an off-field mentor, and he's always there. He knows you, he knows your parents, he knows their jobs, he knows brothers, sisters, family members, and it doesn't matter if you're an All-American or if you're a walk-on from Western Nebraska, he's going to care about you and hold you to the same standards. And a lot of those standards that Coach Osborne, he had three big ones, and they were honesty, integrity, and character. And Coach Osborne instilled that, and he said, hey, if you run with those three pillars in your personal life and in your professional life, you're going to go a long ways. And, of course, he wanted us to be great athletes out on the field and to have success. But his biggest coaching was in your personal life and making sure that you were set up to succeed. And he still does that to this day. I've been gone 20 years. And he'll still call and say, how are you doing? Anything I can help with? Stay the course. If you need to reach out, I'm here. And he does that to everybody. It's not just me. And he's one heck of a man, and I'm really proud to have played for him.
So we could go with the national championships with the two losses. So how did the two losses prepare you to win the championships? And you talked about the specific plays that you didn't perform well in those losses. Do those still haunt you?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. The two losses still haunt me big time. I can tell you the sights and sounds of whenever I snapped the ball past Scott Frost in the Arizona State game down there in Tempe, and the roar of the crowd and the smells and the disappointment and I just did that right. I could say a few other words, and I need to go recover the fumble. I can remember this. I can remember opening up a hole for Amon Green and him blasting through it and getting down 18 yards and fumbling the ball. What could we have done different? Could we have had an offensive lineman down on the second level? So you remember all of these things on those losses, and yeah, I mean, I can tell you when we beat the pants off of Florida in the national title game, but I can't remember specifics, right? I mean, it was 62-30 something, right? But I can remember the 19-0 loss versus Arizona State. I can remember the Texas loss in '96 in the Big 12 championship game in St. Louis, and quarterback James Brown and running backs. He played for the Saints, Ricky Williams, and I can remember all of those, and I can remember the combo blocks with Chris Dishman when we got split, and why did we get split? I can remember all of those specifically. But I can't remember the specific plays when we won those national title games. So what does it do to prepare us? I don't know. It makes you wonder if you think about those things, if great players or good players think about those things in order to get better and not think about the successes, right? Because that's all what you're always told. Hey, let's move on and get better. And so for me, it was what can we do to get better from each and every play.
I'm going to get in trouble if I don't ask you this last question. Do you know Steve Richardson, Tiger?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got to talk about the Allen Trophy and what does it mean to be in that elite fraternity. Forget the Hall.
Yeah. So, the Allen Trophy is something that I really, really wanted to achieve in my career. And why did I want to achieve it? I wanted to achieve it for three reasons, right? It was Will Shields in '92 who received it. It was Dave Remington who received it, and Dean Steinkuhler. And those were all three wonderful players, great players at the University of Nebraska that I emulated, and I wanted to be them. And I put them up on a pedestal, and I was thinking, man, if I could be just like those guys, right? They all had different characteristics and qualities as a player, but I wanted to be them. And I think, for me, I always had somebody that I wanted to reach out and try to be. I don't think I ever got to their level, but hey, man, I'm in their fraternity, and I'm excited about it. And not only that, I'm also in their fraternity as a College Football Hall of Famer. And so that I don't know, does it validate a little bit? Maybe, but I still want to be them, right? They're always going to be up on that pedestal for me, and I'm excited to be a part of that with them.
Thank you.